Good morning, welcome to the Riga Aviation Forum, here the pre-forum for the research conference. My name is Martin Gauss, I'm the CEO of airBaltic, and before I address you I have a short question, as we are in a very different format this year. Who of you has flown in the last 8 months? Just raise your arms and that we get an indication of how many of you have flown in the last 8 months. I guess I see hundreds of hands up there, but I don't see any because I'm talking to a camera only. So that is the new format, but at least we understand that some of you have flown. A lot of you probably have not flown in the last 8 months. And the reason for that is that the aviation industry has been hit very hard. But talking about our industry and talking about sustainability, we were the leaders if we are talking about sustainability. You were reading headlines again and again how good airlines, airports, what they're doing on sustainability. We were even better than other industries. We were showing the car industry that we are faster in developing, and we're doing all these modern things to be more sustainable. The shipping industry has basically done nothing. Airlines especially were leading there. We were making headlines in that debate about sustainability. But then COVID-19 crisis came, initially slowly and then very, very hard. In the case of airBaltic, we had to stop flying completely. It's a global issue for the aviation industry. So from the high on sustainability in the media, we are now in the high of everyday new dramatic headlines about the aviation and especially the airline industry. If we just look at yesterday's announcement of Lufthansa in Germany, they got a 9 billion bailout package from the German state, and they say it might not even last 1 year. We're talking in our industry about mass unemployment. We're talking about surviving, and basically all airlines around the globe are having that discussion. And all the headlines you see at the moment are not about sustainability anymore. They're about survival of our industry, about protecting jobs, securing financing, keeping flying in the air. Right now, with all the restrictions, we are not even sure where we can fly next week. And we need to adjust to this new normal. We need to adjust to all these uncertainties coming from the current crisis. So do you think that sustainability is not important anymore? No, it is important, and it will be more important once we are through this crisis. What I'd like to do today is to take you through the word sustainability in the context of us as an airline, and I want to look at the environmental effect of sustainability, at the economic effect, and at the social sustainability. I'll take you through the elements in airBaltic about our business strategy and the sustainability here, about the operational efficiency, climate and noise I will talk about, and gender diversity and people, because sustainability is not only about clean air. If we look at the economic or business strategy of airBaltic, we're an international company. We're flying all over Europe and outside Europe. And what we're doing right now in the COVID crisis, we're short before releasing our first sustainability report. And that sustainability report is just not a piece of paper. It gives us additional transparency of what we are doing as an airline on sustainability. But more important, it is long-term. It's not a short-term thing and published. It's our commitment long-term to sustainability, much longer than the COVID crisis will take. That report is soon to be released, and that is a commitment which everybody can then check and say, how are they doing? Lots of airlines do this today. airBaltic is very soon publishing it. We had to adjust the business plan. The business plan now is called Destination 2025 Clean. So we have put it even in our business plan, the word clean, and that showing a very strong commitment to sustainability at a business plan which was developed at the peak of the crisis. And one sustainability in the business of airBaltic is the strong connectivity. You would ask yourself, what has connectivity to do with sustainability? airBaltic is connecting the Baltics to the world. This is something we do, and we don't do it for this season or for next season. We do it already for 25 years this year, and we will continue doing this long term. So long-term connectivity for the Baltic states is part of the sustainability, of the sustainable development of the Baltic region and the air infrastructure airBaltic will provide. The Latvian aviation industry has exceeded, according to IATA research last year, 3% impact to the GDP of Latvia. So that is more than 1 billion per year. Currently, the Latvian GDP has fallen behind Estonian and Lithuanians. So one of the reasons could be that we had to stop flying for 62 days. So there's an impact to the economy when the airline, which is providing a sustainable connectivity for Europe, is not doing that anymore. So sustainability is not only the climate. In our context, it's also to maintain our business long term, to ensure the future, and with that, of course, ensure that the economics in the Baltics can continue to grow. We have indirectly been responsible for 30,000 jobs in Latvia. So that is also sustainable because we don't want to, if we stop flying, lose all these jobs. We want to build for the future that people have jobs in the Baltic. So therefore, sustainable business plan, sustainable development going forward is something we are looking at our business strategy. Our operational efficiency. We have a leading role in the Baltics, not only in Riga, we are also the market leader in Estonia, and at the beginning of the crisis, now we were also the market leader in Lithuania. Our market share is not the only thing where we look at operational efficiency and growing and maintaining our position here. We are also the most punctual airline in the world for many years in a row. Right now, flying after the crisis, we will be seeing that same punctuality as we did a lot of things in our operations to even improve this while we're in the crisis. So we're using the time to be more sustainable on operational efficiency. Just imagine this airline used to have 5 different aircraft types. 5 different ones, propellers, different jets. Now, and that is something we did in the crisis, we're focusing on only one aircraft type, the Airbus A220-300. So we will be flying only with one aircraft type, and that aircraft type is the most greenest aircraft, is most environmental friendly aircraft available in the world in its category. So we have taken a decision to invest billions for the future to have an aircraft which is more sustainable operating as an aircraft than any other aircraft in the world. The A220, to give you some numbers, is saving 22% fuel. It's a fifth of the consumption of an aircraft which is also still flying, but is not as modern as the Airbus A220. But it doesn't tell you much if I say it's 20% fuel. Maybe with the example of a sector from Riga to London Gatwick. Just on that one sector, this new aircraft is saving 1,200 kilograms of fuel each time it flies. So that is the power and the difference of flying a very modern aircraft which we have invested in. It's 1,200 kilos of fuel if we fly with the Airbus A220 or if we would fly with an equivalent aircraft just on one sector, just going one sector to London Gatwick. We have also done a lot of things in the past which now can be, after the crisis, where we can take the fruit from it. We have invested in paperless cockpit. Paperless cockpit means that in the past you might remember pilot pictures where a captain has his head and the co-pilot, and they both were carrying black suitcases around with them, heavy ones. The typical pilot used to have this big black suitcase. The reason for that big black suitcase was all the papers he had to carry, all the manuals, all the books. This is not the case anymore. An airBaltic pilot today doesn't carry such a bag. An airBaltic pilot today carries an iPad. We have completely changed. Our pilots and our cabin crew are having all their documentation on an iPad, and we're updating this daily. It's not only updated while at the headquarters, it's updated over air. So all the time, real-time data, and we are becoming paperless. There's only a few documents left over. The rest is paperless. That also leading to a more sustainable future. Climate, noise, these are the 2 key highlights the media addresses if we talk about airlines and sustainability. The Baltics, the home of airBaltic, is a region full of forest, very rich in nature, clear water. We have a very long coastline, a beautiful coastline. I think most of us now have seen during the lockdown phases the beauty and the nature of the Baltics. It's our duty and responsibility to preserve that long term, not only for us, we need to preserve that for future generations, but we still need to connect the Baltics to the world. So sustainability on climate and noise means to maintain this nature for the future. And that is the responsibility we have as an airline and we have as an aviation industry. There's various projects, not only on saving fuel, but also on being more efficient and decrease CO2. The aircraft which we have today, the Airbus A220, reduces the CO2 emission by 20%. But that's not it yet, because we as an industry have just invested in new engine. This is the latest engine technology available today, and it reduced the CO2 emission by 20%. But we are looking further, and we are already partnering in different projects and doing the research on electric engines. So what will be coming, and we will all see this, that engines will be full electric, and that means no CO2 anymore. This is coming. It's not today, it's not after the crisis, but it is coming, and we are already preparing for this by working today with the most modern technology. We are just automatically on the way to electric engines, and we all in this audience will see that coming in the future. But to get there, we have today to invest and maintain what we're doing and what is possible today. And today we have an aircraft which reduced it just by 20% in changing the aircraft type. We have the greenest aircraft with the Airbus A220. We call it the greenest aircraft. The aircraft, for example, has, and it's the first one, a fully transparent life cycle declaration of all its parts. So that aircraft is produced, and each part of the aircraft, you can track it, and there's a full life cycle declaration for these aircraft parts. So everything which can be reused there will be reused, and from the beginning of constructing the aircraft to the end of its life, we can follow that. But you, as passengers, can also do something, because we as the airline provide you with the aircraft and you come inside. What is it what you are doing to help us? You're actually helping us a lot right now. You remember the times when you got a piece of paper to show to the check-in agent where it was printed your seat and your name. Today, we are at 90% electronic boarding passes, which means you're checking in online and you are getting your boarding pass yourself on your mobile phone, and then with your mobile phone you are going through the gate onto the aircraft. This might not think that you are doing a lot to yourself, but do you think about the 5 million, more than 5 million passengers we had last year? 90% of them did not print out a paper. We didn't use a printer for 5 million people last year. And it's just this little thing the passengers can do when they follow what we would like to do, of course, with all passengers to check in online. So also here, much more sustainable than a few years ago. Looking at our people, diversity, sustainability with our people. We've signed last year before the crisis in Berlin, together with many more airlines, big announcement publicly in the media, the IATA Gender Diversity Pledge. Big poster where all the airline CEOs signed. And what we signed there, that we as airBaltic would commit ourselves by the year 2025 to have 25% female participation in our airline. When we signed it, we had to smile in airBaltic, because today in airBaltic, gender diversity is that 50% of our managers in airBaltic are female, and that is today, not in 2025. And the senior management, so the leaders of airBaltic, the 11 people running the airline together with me, 40% of them are female. So airBaltic has signed something which the industry wants to achieve in 2025. We have achieved it already last year, and we are maintaining it. We have a pilot academy, a very successful part of airBaltic, where we hire young people who will have a career for the next 30 to 40 years. And there, of course, we are hiring female cadets. So we have more and more young women coming to our industry, And with that, of course, changing our industry. We will not have one day the issue that a pilot should be a man. We are doing that part in airBaltic and recruiting more and more females who are interested to be a pilot. But not only pilots, also on the engineering side, we see more and more females. And it is us as an industry to make that diversity and enable people long-term to take any part of a job the airline offers. We have just launched last week the Alpha program. Alpha is the airBaltic Leaders for Future program. It's a management and leadership course, which is in-house. But this course will identify future leaders of airBaltic, and they will get a very high-level management and leadership education over a course of 2 years to be able to run this airline as managers, or maybe to go to another company and run with that knowledge. So the Alpha Leadership Program is something where we believe we will be more sustainable on management education. And these future leaders, of course, will take all the knowledge we have available today, and they will take that knowledge onward and further. So by investing in our managers in airBaltic, also into our future managers, we are making sure that this word sustainability does not stop just at the climate change. And of course our pilot academy with Diamond aircraft, the most modern small aircraft to learn flying. It's a glass cockpit which prepares our pilot for the glass cockpit of the Airbus A220. And with that we ensure that the future workforce in the aviation industry in the Baltics is at the highest possible levels what you can do today. We have COVID-19 today. It's everywhere. And this format shows that we are still impacted by COVID-19. But it is just a crisis. 100 years of aviation, we have been through this crisis. This crisis will be over, and then sustainability will be coming back much, much stronger than it was there before. So sustainability is the word we will see after the COVID crisis is over, and it will drive all of us for the next 20, 30 and more years, because that is the key that our planet and our doing there makes this planet a better place. Airlines have to restart their operations, and they will have to focus today on sustainability. It will not be forgiven to an airline which is now in crisis that they maintain crisis mode when we are all going back. Only the ones who focus on sustainability already today and do not forget about it and invest clever and smart in all areas I touched will be in the future around and will develop further. The future winners will be the ones who already today talk about sustainability, even if the media is not talking about it. We are looking forward in airBaltic to a future with the focus on sustainability in all the areas I mentioned, and we want to take airBaltic and what we do as an example in the airline industry, not only in the Baltics or in Europe. We want to be an example in the world, and with that I think we're going to think greener in airBaltic, we fly greener, and we go together for a more sustainable future. Thank you.